customer now for just about a year. I had been with a different company, one that was recommended by the Bar Association and used by many other law firms for many years. And the time came for us to consider getting a new backup drive to replace a tape drive and possibly consider a new server. When I received a quote from that company for, it was about $15,000 for the new backup solution I wanted, I was surprised, and I went online and researched the cost of the equipment and found that the equipment was only a couple $1,000s, and much of the cost of that system was installation of software and work that the other company was doing in my office. I sought out PSI and got a quote from them for the same type of NASD storage device coupled with a cloud storage solution that they use, and was shocked that the price of the equipment was only a couple $1,000s, and installation was only a couple $1,000s. Altogether, I think the bid came to about $4,000, or almost $12,000 less than their competitor. On top of that, when I met with PSI, they talked about a very proactive approach to managing our computer system 24/7. That was important to me because we had over the last few years several instances each year where our emails had been hacked and we were blackballed by major email companies so that we could not communicate with our clients by email. Each time that happened, we incurred substantial costs as well as a delay in our online communications. In addition to that, we had a host of problems with software failures and hardware issues, and I found that I was spending more and more money each year on our computer maintenance. When PSI approached me about their proactive management of our computers, I was very interested in it. And when I realized that I had saved so much money on our replacement backup storage that I could try their service for about a year at no real additional cost, I went for it. About 2 weeks after we started, I knew I had made a good decision when I was on the way to New York City and I got a phone call from PSI on my cell phone that they were unable to reach my office. They said there was a problem, my computer was down, and asked if I had heard anything from my staff. I hadn't yet heard anything from my staff, but a few minutes later got a phone call from my office telling me that we had a power outage and that everything had shut down. I was able to tell them I already knew about that because PSI had called me. So everything went very well, and the implementation of their service was smooth. I found that instead of encouraging my staff to ask my permission before calling our prior support because I was worried about running up huge bills, I encouraged my staff to get every problem fixed and get everything taken care of quickly. After a flurry of activity, everything was stabilized and running smoothly. And instead of my staff having to identify problems and reaching out and scheduling times for maintenance, we would get phone calls or emails from PSI saying, we came in last night, found a problem, and fixed it. And we want to make sure that you're aware of what we did. That was a really pleasant change. And then, on top of that, I started to notice that our server was slowing down. We started to have some problems getting everything done efficiently, and people were waiting for their programs to load and data to be manipulated by the computers. We discussed that with PSI, and they said, well, we don't think you need new equipment yet. Instead, what we want to look at is what your people are doing from their computers while they're at work. And I said, oh, can you tell me that? And they said, sure. Our monitoring shows us where each person's gone every day and how long they've been there. I said, that would be a fantastic piece of information to use. And they said, hey, we'll have you the information on all the computers in your office in just a couple hours. They did that and gave me a 3-week report on what my staff had been doing on my dime. And when I saw, I was really surprised. We had everything from social media to shopping sites. Zappos for shoes was really popular. And then there were even people who were watching cat videos for half an hour, 45 minutes, while they should have been working. When I talked to PSI about that, they said, we can block any categories of sites you like. I said, well, how much is that going to cost for the software and all your efforts to do that? And they said, you already have the software. It's included in your maintenance package, and it won't cost you an extra dime. Well, now that people aren't watching cat videos and streaming Pandora and shopping for shoes during their working hours, I find that my computer and those of the rest of the staff work faster and more efficiently. I had no idea that something as simple as Pandora or YouTube would take so much of a computer's power away from the business-related tasks. I'm thrilled with it, and now people have gone back to bringing in little tabletop radios if they want to listen to something during the daytime, or streaming from their own cell phones at their own cost, rather than tying up my hardware and internet access to do that. So yes, it's been about a year I've been with PSI now, and I couldn't be happier. I've saved money by spending less on the equipment, spending less on the service I've received, avoiding buying unnecessary equipment. I had a quote for something like $60,000 worth of new equipment, and I didn't need any of that equipment. I've been able to increase my efficiency, continuing to use the equipment that's already bought and paid for, and with the knowledge that 24/7 it's being watched and protected.